All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our final community conversation of the year. Next month in April, we will have two public meetings, two public hearings on the budget. So stay tuned for those events. And then hopefully in May, the weather will be nice and we can go back to our community walks. So thank you again for joining us. And if you've joined us for other community conversations, thank you so much. This topic is very important. We're going to provide an update today on the walk bike drive safety initiative. So let's go ahead and get started.
Marissa, if you want to begin the PowerPoint.
Okay. So we're, excuse me, we're going to do a update on the walk, bike, drive safety initiative that everyone in the town has been working really hard to improve safety and the quality of life as people travel and navigate throughout our town. I have the next slide or. And the primary goal for the Walk, Bike, Drive initiative is to create a safe environment for all travelers, which are pedestrians, bicyclists, motorists, and users of other micromobility devices in the town through education, environmental enhancements, engineering, and enforcement. We call those the 4 E's here in our town. Our goals with the 4 E's for education, we're going to increase the awareness of safe walking, biking, and driving practices and behaviors. So we're trying to educate everyone on how everyone can do their part to maintain a safe environment while they're navigating throughout our town. For environmental enhancements, we're looking at timely assess to correct infrastructure hazards and to maintain a safe environment for all modes of travel. So that's keeping our roadways, maintained, making sure our sidewalks are maintained, stop signs and stop lights. We're making sure that everything is all in good working order. For engineering, it's designing public spaces and roadways to provide the greatest protection for the most vulnerable populations and mobilities. So again, we're trying to make sure that everyone can navigate safely throughout our town. On the enforcement piece, we're utilizing all methods of traffic enforcement to discourage speeding, aggressive, impaired, and distracted driving, as well as other traffic violations. So there's a lot of different ways that we can be distracted when we're driving. So that's also part of our education piece when we're trying to let people know that these things can be distracted driving and it can cause harm to others. So for education, coming up May 19th, we're having a career, and I talked to the school. So we're going to do a career and safety day. And that's when we're going to be working with the children at the school and trying to encourage them to, look at careers in local government, period, no matter what their interests may be. Local government, we have so many jobs out there that, these kids may find an interest in and just getting them thinking on those lines, as well as safety. We're going to be talking to them about ways that they can be safe as they're walking to school. Something as simple as looking both ways, just be a reminder for children to really pay attention and things they can do to help keep themselves safe. We're having obviously the community conversations today, and I believe you said, Jessica, will be starting and hopefully be back out in the field May, I believe.
Yep. We'll do our walk and talks in May, and that's an important part of all of our walk and talks is evaluating the walk, bike, drive safety aspects of the areas that we're in. So that'll start in May. And then following up in May, we have, or the following month, we have in June Trolley Trail Day, and we'll have a lot of visitors using the trail, and we'll use that as an opportunity to talk about Walk, Bike, Drive and distribute some of the materials that we have related to the safety initiative. And then and then in August, we have National Night Out, and that is always a time for us to talk about Walk, Bike, Drive. So it's a part of all of the events and all of the outreach that the town does. We have our ongoing public information campaigns on social media. We're constantly getting feedback from residents on things that they're seeing in their neighborhoods, taking note of those things, doing everything that we can to improve the ability to walk, bike, and drive in our community.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm really looking forward to National Night Out. I had so much fun last year. And we're going to also have ongoing public information campaigns, especially in Town Center Market, where we can go up and hopefully I know we're trying to have a table out there, and we can be out there and be able to have, some face-to-face open dialogue as people come through and they shop up there. But we're just going to be, reminding people of how they drive, of the speed limits throughout our town, and just different reminders for the various seasons of things that you can do to help keep yourself safe while you are navigating throughout the town. All right.
Okay, we have ongoing efforts to enhance the environment to improve safety for all. The annual road condition assessment to identify priority repair projects, ongoing scans and repair of potholes, the use of highly visible crosswalks combined with stop bars in high pedestrian areas and locations with vulnerable populations, use of flashing stop and pedestrian crossing signs at strategic locations are just some of those examples. These pictures on the screen now are examples of planned and completed environmental enhancements. So recent repair and resurfacing of deteriorated pavement in the town center and Lafayette Avenue near Maryland 410. I'm sure you've seen these patches out there. And there are 13 planned road improvements for fiscal year 2023, and the little dots on the map show where those road improvements are located. And then the use of highly visible continental style crosswalks. So there's a good example. There's a standard ladder, and the style that we are planning to use here is continental. So the installation of flashing stop and pedestrian crossing signs in Riverdale Park Station, at Riverdale Elementary and along Queensbury Road and in the multifamily communities are some other examples. The use of yield to pedestrians and bikes at the trolley trail crossings and placement of mid-crossing stop for pedestrian signs at strategic locations. You can already see some of these signs out there blinking. I noticed it on Queensbury Road and it immediately drew my attention. So we're hoping that it does the same for other drivers.
If I may, Jessica, those stop signs, even in the height of sun, you can still see them. So I think they're very good for traffic. It's really hard to miss. So I think that was a very a good way to go with those stop signs. And at night, I've seen them at night, and it catches your attention for sure.
Very good, very good. And it strikes the right balance. I think there was some concern about them being too bright, and I think they're just perfect. So it works out very well. So we have some planned engineering efforts to improve safety, strategic use of raised crosswalks at intersections. We also have the redesign of the town center parking lot, access to Maryland Avenue and trolley trail connection through the town center, to improve circulation, delineate and better define pedestrian and bicycle pathways, and better define access to Maryland Avenue through town center. So that's a large project with several of the goals listed. That's a future project. And then we have the redesign and reconstruction of Lafayette Avenue at Natoli Place. That intersection is always difficult. This will address the crisscrossing conflict. If you've ever been through that area, you're not quite sure what to do as a driver. I'm sure it's the same for a cyclist or a pedestrian. Provide greater clarity again to drivers, improve the circulation safety for pedestrian, bicyclists, and motorists, and assess the potential for new green space in the area. So we also have the installation of a sidewalk to complete the sidewalk network on 54th Avenue between Jefferson Street and Spring Lane. Here's a picture of the plans for that sidewalk. It's a much needed sidewalk in that area. We have the installation of 11 pedestrian style streetlights on 54th Avenue from Riverdale Road to the south side of Jefferson Street with the goal of improved pedestrian safety. And then the protected bike lanes that are planned for River Tech Court, and those are very much needed. And finally, we'll get into some of the enforcement. Marissa, would you like to cover?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that. So over the last 2 weeks, the men are out there working really hard. They've issued 19 different citations and have given 15 written warnings. I'm sure there are also just some verbal warnings as they engage people throughout the town, the area of Riverdale Park Station. We have the next one. And so, all right. So the accidents, I thought I updated that. So accidents with property damage only, we've had 31 of those. We've had 11 accidents that resulted in injury. We've had 12 hit and run accidents. And the guys on the department, they've had 7 driving under the influence arrests. And I look forward to that when that number gets down to 0, because that means that people understand they can't, drive while impaired in our town. But they're definitely working hard out there for that. I think Mayor Thompson, do you have a question, sir?
Yes, the hit and run accidents, were those property damage, or was that actually hitting a pedestrian?
Those are like vehicles. Someone's vehicle was struck and then the striking vehicle left the scene.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, so that concludes our update for the Walk, Bike, Drive Safety Initiative. And now we would like to hear from the community. Mayor Thompson is here. So if there's any other comments or questions, we are excited to hear any thoughts you may have.
Well, I'll just make one comment. I was very glad to see the protected bike lane project on River Tech Court. I'm happy to see all the projects, but I learned something recently about the protected bike lanes, and that was that they did a sort of multi-city study worldwide and found that adding protected bike lanes actually improved safety for everyone. So it reduced vehicle crashes, it reduced bicycle crashes, it reduced bicycle crashes, it reduced pedestrians being struck by vehicles. And so I think that that will be very good. That area is a little bit scary, driving through there every now and then myself during the beginning of the day or end of the day. Then I think it'll be great to improve the safety there. And so looking forward to that project going on.
And Ms. Barnes, if I may,
Certainly.
Just add a few things. So in addition to this update, We want to thank our resident, Dan Burrand. I may be mispronouncing his name, who alerted us to a Senate Bill 011. And that bill had already passed the Senate. The town is now very aware of this, and that the purpose of that bill is to reduce the size of school zones to go from a half mile down to 1/10 of a mile. As a refresher for our residents, the town has a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit throughout the town. And we did that based upon current law, which allows a municipality to set a speed limit under 25 in a school zone. And virtually every part of the town is within a half mile of a school. There's a tiny little sliver here or there, but virtually the entire town is within half mile of a school. And that's how we were able to apply the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit across the town. If this bill goes through unamended, then the town would have to have a traffic engineering study performed, and we would have to live with those results, whether or not we would be able to have a reduced speed limit in some places, as opposed to having a uniform speed limit of 20 mile an hour across the entire town. So efforts have been made to reach out to the members of the state delegation. And Mayor Thompson, I don't know if you wanted to comment at all on that. And then I believe Marissa Davis has reached out to her colleagues as well, trying to make sure that folks understand the full impact of what this proposed change in the law would do.
I'll be happy to jump in. I wrote some fairly strongly worded emails to our members on the state delegation, 22nd district delegation, including Senator Washington, Delegate Healy, who sits on the committee that will next be hearing Senate Bill 011 in the House. It made crossover into the House, and Delegate Martinez, new Delegate Martinez, and Delegate Williamson. And so the excuse me, Williams, and I've received positive feedback from all of them that they will be looking into this and doing what they can to amend the bill to make it more amenable to our needs. I also alerted all of the mayors of Prince George's County about this, and I know that many of them are also talking to their delegations about this. And I'm hopeful that we can contain this bill and not have it impact our public safety programs in the way that it looks like it will right now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Marissa, did you have any additional information in terms of your outreach to other jurisdictions?
Yes, just in speaking with other jurisdictions and some of the like lawyers who are going to reach out to the legislators, this could have a very drastic and adverse effect. I mean, I believe it would raise the speed limit, I think to a minimum of 35 miles an hour.
It would be 25 in the residential streets.
25, and which all our children walk to school, but even around the Prince George's County as well as the state, you have a lot of children who walk to school. So this could, I don't see how increasing speed limits and allowing people to drive faster when you have children walking is safe for the children and their parents or caretakers or guardians that are walking with them. Oftentimes, it takes a village nowadays. So we have grandparents and aunts and uncles, some who are older, maybe with mobility challenges, walking, and to increase speeds, that's not a safe a safe avenue to go. And I'm strongly against it. And I've spoken to several people who they all share the same sentiment. So hopefully this doesn't go any further. And everyone is working really hard to make sure that this does not happen.
And thank you for that, Marissa. I do think that the town's been successful in the implementation of its 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, and
Yes.
it makes for a much more pedestrian-friendly, bicyclist-friendly, and driver-friendly community. And that's our focus here. Riverdale Park, like many of our neighbors, is a small urban hub. And we've created this wonderful urban community, this walkable community. But we still have a lot of projects to complete. So we have areas without sidewalks. We have areas with very narrow sidewalks. And the town's children and our seniors and everyone else has to move about this built environment. And as the former chief, Dave Morris, would say, speed results in higher likelihood of serious injury or death.
Absolutely.
When there's a collision. And I believe that to be true. And I think that it's good that the town has taken these actions, that the mayor has taken these actions to try to influence this legislation. And we will keep the residents updated on the progress that's being made to amend this legislation, or at least contain its effect. Ms. Barnes, are there other things that we should be discussing today?
I don't believe so. I think the legislation is probably the most timely and what we need to really act on right now. We have all of these projects ongoing, and you'll see our public outreach. You'll occasionally see postings about the speed limit and things of that nature. And the feedback from residents is resoundingly that we need these kinds of things in place to keep our communities safe. So I don't believe there's anything else to add today. I would just like to thank everybody again for joining us. If there's ever any other questions or concerns, we have our community input at riverdaleparkmd.gov or neighborhood concerns. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, this will be the last community conversation as we move into walk and talks in May. We do have 2 public hearings in April 15th and the 22nd at 9:30 via Zoom on the fiscal year 2024 budget. Please plan to join us. If not, again, please utilize any of those outreach efforts to contact the town or reach back out to the town and provide any feedback that you might have on any of our initiatives, projects, or the upcoming fiscal year 2024 budget.
And thank you for that. I on an unrelated subject, but it ties to everything, and that's the budget. And so I'll use this opportunity just to share with the community that I am working with the staff team to finalize the proposed budget, and that will be delivered to the mayor and council on Monday, April 3rd. And there will be a robust component of the budget to see projects done, to change how we move about the town with additional sidewalks and road markings and signage and road improvement projects, crosswalks, if I haven't said again, crosswalks, to do what we can to have a safer environment. Mayor Thompson, did you have anything that you would like to add?
I don't think so. I appreciate the presentation and the update, and we will continue to move forward to try to create the urban walkable community that is the vision of both the government and the citizens of this town.
Great.
Wonderful. Thank you again. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a great day.